So I just want to say a few quick words about competitor analysis. So one of the key things in all business situations, whether it's an existing business or an entrepreneur or a new business, is having a clear understanding about who our competitors are and what it is our competitors are likely to do in terms of their strategies and actions into the future. And so for any new venture looking to start up, they need to have a really good understanding about the competitors in the marketplace. Now, when we talk about competitors, we should be interested in current competitors, so businesses that are already competing in the industry that are likely to pose competitive threats for us into the future, but also be thinking beyond that and maybe also thinking about future competitors. You know, who are the organisations out there that are likely to be a competitive threat to our organisation in the next 5 to 10 years? If you think about some industries like the photographic industry, for example, if you asked Kodak back 10 years ago, they probably would have said, or 15 years ago, they probably wouldn't have said that Apple or Samsung were their major competitors, because they would have viewed the other camera and film makers as being the real competitive threat. But the reality now is, with digitised technology and the rollout of smarter phones that everyone now uses as their main mode of taking photos, what we see is that people are far more likely to use those products than actually buy a traditional camera with film, and so that becomes a real competitive threat for that organisation. So we really need to, when we're looking at our competitors, have a really good understanding about what their future objectives are, their current strategies, what their types of beliefs are about the industry, and their relative strengths and weaknesses. I'm going to talk a little bit more about those in a minute. We need to, now I'm going to say spy as a word here, but I don't actually mean spies in the espionage sense. What I'm saying is that we need to spy on our competitors, understand our competitors, look at what they're doing, what their strategies might be, and trying to gain a detailed picture of what their strategic activities might look like going into the future. So as an organisation, we need to be very clear about who the competition is and what our competitors are actually doing. Now, there are ethical issues, of course, in terms of gathering information about the competition. We can't break the law, we can't engage in espionage, but we can, gain access to freely available public information. We can do surveys and we can reverse engineer the products that our competitors actually make to get a sense about what the competition are doing and how those organisations compete. So when we're looking at our competitor analysis, there's sort of 5 key things we need to understand when we look at any competitor. We need to start off by thinking about what are their future objectives. What is it that they as an organisation are trying to do into the future? Objectives are critical because they provide a focus for action for our organisation. And so by understanding what the competitors' objectives actually are, we can clearly understand where that organisation is attempting to be in the near future. And that will give us some sorts of ideas around what types of actions that organisation is going to take. Now again, our competitors are not just going to walk up to us and say, our objectives are blah. We'll have to try and understand what their objectives look like they might be from looking at their strategy over time and predicting forward about what that might be. We need to have a really clear understanding about what our competitors' current strategies are. So what strategies are our competitors putting into the marketplace? When we talk about strategies, we talk about the actions, the tactics that they undertake to achieve their competitive objectives. So how are they competing? What's their strategy look like? Are they competing on differentiation? Are they competing on price or being a low-cost provider of a service to the marketplace? What is the basis of their competitive success? We need to try and understand what their assumptions are about the future. How do we think this firm thinks about the future? What strategies are they likely to be trying to put into place to take advantage of any future opportunities? And we need to be very clear about what the capabilities are of our competitors. What are their strengths and weaknesses? A little bit like a sporting competition or a military army going into battle with its competitors. We're trying to understand where they're strong and where they're weak, and we will then try and develop a strategy that minimises our exposure to their strengths, but also maximises the weaknesses that they have as an organisation. And the final thing that people often overlook when they think about doing competitor analysis is understanding what the competitors' responses are likely to be to any competitive action that we might undertake. So as an organisation, we really need to be clear about the types of responses that they will put in place to any strategy we might implement.